And for the third consecutive season, the Miami Heat are headed to the NBA Finals tonight after a Game 7, 99-76 win over the Indiana Pacers. I'm Tim Kelly. This is The Real Sports Talk. Thank you guys for tuning in. And a tremendous series that unfortunately culminated in a terrible Game 7 where the Heat ran away with it, much to my surprise. Dwyane Wade got involved. Chris Bosh got a little bit involved in the first half, and LeBron James was tremendous again. And as a team, the Miami Heat played a great game. In the first half, coming into this game, Birdman was back, and the spotlight was really on what would Dwyane Wade and Chris Bosh do to try and support LeBron James, who really got no help in Indiana in Game 6. And early on, Erik Spoelstra drew up a game plan to try and get them involved. Wade and Bosh had the ball in their hands early, and Wade showed some flash. Now, he still wasn't Flash Dwyane Wade, but he was Dwyane Wade that was good enough to help this LeBron James, who is balling right now, win an NBA title, and that's all he needed to be tonight. Finishes with 21 points, 9 rebounds. We saw some great moves, and what he did defensively, crashing the boards, offensively crashing the boards, that was huge in helping the Heat extend a few possessions and not allow the Pacers to extend a few of their possessions. Now, the Heat attacked much more in this game. A lot of that had to do with the fact that Dwyane Wade got the ball in his hand a little bit more. Dwyane Wade getting the ball in his hand, drove to the hoop as he normally will, and he had a little bit more explosion out of that ankle tonight. I don't know if he got a cortisone shot in between days. I don't know what happened, but he looked not at 100%, but certainly better than he has looked this entire series, and I was impressed by Dwyane Wade's performance tonight. Ray Allen also came out in the first half, went 3 for 3 on his first three threes. He was tremendous from downtown early on, and the Heat defense on Roy Hibbert was smothering. Early on, the Pacers got up, and Erik Spoelstra called a timeout, and I said early on, with the exception of Game 3, Frank Vogel, in my mind, outcoached Erik Spoelstra in every game of this series, and tonight, Erik Spoelstra called that timeout, rallied the troops, and what he did was he put the double team onto Roy Hibbert, did not even allow Hibbert to get shots off, to dribble the ball, anything, and that really decided the game because they also got Roy Hibbert in foul trouble offensively. I think he had 1 or 2 offensive fouls, and one of those came in the first half. He also had 2 defensive fouls, so we went into halftime with 3 fouls. And driving in on Roy Hibbert and playing that smothering defense, it frustrated him. It got him into foul trouble, and that really set the tone for this entire night. It was just tremendous defense. He went into half 2 for 2 from the field, but only 5 points, 2 rebounds, and 3 fouls. That wasn't going to be good enough tonight because LeBron James went into half with 18, Dwyane Wade went into half with 10, and Chris Bosh had 8 rebounds. Now, didn't grab a single one in the second half, but in the first half, he had those 8 rebounds, and wasn't good shooting-wise, and I mean, he shoots like he's Kobe Bryant now. I don't understand what that is, but I think now that he's not going against a big man quite as big as Roy Hibbert and Thiago Splitter, we may see him get some more looks closer to the hoop in the NBA Finals. So 52-37 Heat at the half. The entire series, I said that Frank Vogel had outcoached Erik Spoelstra. He had the chance, Frank Vogel, to make some huge adjustments at halftime because that's really what he needed to make. And he tried to get back to the basics in the second half. He was not able to do that. The Heat were just too much. They were in too big. The Pacers were in too big of a hole to slow the game down and try and play their style. And the Heat offensively were clicking tonight. So the Miami Heat get a 99-76 win. LeBron James has 32 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. A tremendous series out of him. Dwyane Wade, 21 points, 9 rebounds. Not a good series, but a pretty solid Game 7. And then Chris Bosh had those 8 rebounds. Really had a pitiful series, and he should have been apologizing to his teammates, although I don't know what he's planning to do, not be soft anymore. Whatever the case is, he should have been apologizing to his team. And the one thing I want to say before I get a little bit more into the remainder of this game is the Pacers will be back. This is a team with not only Paul George, Paul George's series was extremely overrated. Paul George had some great moments, but he did not have a great overall series. David West and Roy Hibbert, they had very good series. Lance Stevenson tonight had a pretty solid game. Overall, had a good series. George Hill had some good games, wasn't very good from the field tonight, 4 of 14, turned the ball over twice. The Pacers are going to be back. I think that they can add, they certainly need to add another piece off the bench, another big man, another 4 or 5, whatever, one of those two. They're going to need to add that. But if they're able to do that and re-sign David West, this is a team that I think, unless the Heat retool, regardless of whether they win the NBA Finals or lose the NBA Finals, if the Heat do not retool, they might not be getting out of the Eastern Conference next year, because this Indiana Pacers team is something special. They're going to get Danny Granger back next year. Who knows how they're going to work him back in. But Frank Vogel has done a tremendous job. And this Indiana Pacers team, I know that it's frustrating to lose in a Game 7, but I think that this is only the beginning. And I really did not feel like coming into this series that this was a team that year after year was going to be a threat to the Miami Heat. But coming out of this series, the Pacers, I think, are a lot better team than I'd seen in the regular season. If Roy Hibbert can put together a season how he played in this series, and then they were just a much better overall team than I think a lot of people gave them credit for. Now, the final thing that happened in this game, way after the game was over, I mean, it's 3 or 4 minutes left, but it was a 20-point game. Norris Cole has a screen set on him by Jeff Pendergraft, everyone's favorite Indiana Pacer, and both were thrown out. Norris Cole's elbow trying to hedge the screen or break off the screen, whatever. He's trying to get by Pendergraft. Pendergraft takes exception because Norris Cole's elbow came near his face, and both of them are ejected because Pendergraft then pushes Norris Cole. I don't really know exactly what Norris Cole was ejected for because I watched the replay 2 or 3 times. I stopped the TV, went back. It didn't even look like he was saying anything. It just looked like Pendergraft took the fact that he was trying to break off the moving screen that he set. He didn't like that very much. So Pendergraft ejected. And then while they're trying to sort this out and keep those two separated, I see this guy in the crowd going off at, it looked like Pendergraft, and I'm like, wow, what an idiot, that guy's wasting front row seats. And then about 2 minutes later, Craig Sager comes on, and he says that it was Flo Rida's, not Flo Rida like they say on TNT, Flo Rida, the rapper. It was his manager getting into it with Jeff Pendergraft. That was one of the strangest but funniest things that I've seen in a while. He was thrown out, but overall, Miami Heat win this game. They get a celebration for their 3rd straight NBA Finals appearance. Now, certainly, this isn't a win for them because they're expected with this team that they put together to win the NBA Finals every single season. So just getting there is not good enough. They cannot lose 2 out of 3 years, and that's the unfortunate situation that they put themselves in when Bosh, Wade, and LeBron James all teamed up together, and when they had that huge celebration at the beginning. It's championship or bust. It's not go to championship or bust. It's win championship or bust, and that's the situation they're in. It is LeBron James versus the Spurs, much like the 2007 NBA Finals. But in a lot of respects, it's not going to be the same. The thing that is going to be key is what team shows up for the Miami Heat. If he can get some help from Dwyane Wade, if Chris Bosh, I think Chris Bosh will have a much better NBA Finals than he had in Eastern Conference Finals series because he's not going to have Roy Hibbert on him. If he can get involved, then I think that you do make the Heat the favorite, although I haven't given much thought to the NBA Finals yet because it's the Eastern Conference Finals ended about 15 minutes ago. So I'm going to sort my thoughts out. I'll certainly get a video up. We'll get a few blogs over at Section 215 up on that. But I think that it's an intriguing series because it has the potential to be LeBron, Wade, and Bosh versus Spurs, or maybe we'll end up, if they play Game 6, it might end up looking a lot like it did in the 2007 NBA Finals when the Spurs were able to double and triple team LeBron and pretty much embarrass the Cleveland Cavaliers. So it will be an interesting series, but the Miami Heat are headed to their 3rd straight NBA Finals. What do you guys think on it? Tremendous overall series. Unfortunately, it's going to be hard for the NBA Finals to beat this series. We shall see. Not an exciting Game 7, but whatever. Great series. I'm Tim Kelly. I'll catch you guys next time.